Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. It's time for another Monday Novice fight for you squeamish people. It's time to close your eyes and cover your ears, because things are about to get ugly. In the Novice kind of way, not in this sort of bloody, oh my goodness, the carnage sort of way. It's a 1 versus 1 on Langres. Yes, indeed, I'm getting a lot of matches on Langres, and otherwise it's 2 versus 2s on Duclair or something else. It's a bit curious, but certainly that's how things go. Occasionally you get a lot of matches on one map, but who shall be fighting in another corner? We are seeing Kaffekopf, which might be a pun on Kaffekopf, which basically means coffee cup, and Kopf, which is head in German, so possibly coffee head. You'd make some weird translation of it. But fighting for the Americans, fighting for the 4th Infantry Division, going up against them shall be Konic 1997. Apparently 1997 was a special year for him. Fighting for the Wehrmacht. Fighting for the Bodenständige Grenadier Division 706. And let's get right down to it. And of course I've gotten a lot of mundane novice matches. I mean, it's not just I got one. I mean, I got several, and I'll certainly acknowledge that. But of course, as usual, one sort of has to determine, well, is this good? What does this have? Is it interesting? Why is it interesting? And of course, such bits, which of course is sort of the troublesome. So don't think it's, I didn't cast your game because it necessarily was terrible. I mean, or it would suck. But I mean, it might not necessarily have the right things for either being entertaining or will necessarily being, educational. In this case, I figured this one might have some bits which I figured some people might learn from. But a usual start here, going for the strategic point here. I mean, usually, again, note sort of placement of barracks and Wehrmacht quarters. Let's briefly pause. There's a nice difference here. Kaffekopf placed it right in the middle of his base. Also, there's a bunch of bandit there. One of them, I believe, is a kid. But right in the middle of the base, whereas note Mr. Kaffekopf right at the edge of the base again. Placement of that initial building can matter. It basically means how far your troops can quicker get out in the field, but also having a reinforcement point away from the headquarters, which tends to be a pretty large artillery magnet. So in that sense, I mean, placement of this initial building matters. Continuing on, also note most players, and in particular veteran players, when they start here tend to sort of send the engineers towards here and then have some other unit take the strategic point right here. Little detail I figured in 14. Anyways, Volksgrenadier is on the way for Koronik of the Bodenständige. Slovenia, I suppose he could be from some Ost battalion. Be nice, Dane, be nice. Volksgrenadier sound, and I suppose they could quite nicely be representing some Ost-truppen, which were basically, in this battle, basically Soviet troops from prison camps who were basically told they could either run away in the prison camps, or they could join the glorious Wehrmacht and get treated slightly better. And many did, although they weren't necessarily too reliable, and a lot sort of basically just gave up at first account. On the Western Front, on the Eastern Front, they did it better, but that was probably well knowing that once they'd surrendered, and captured by the Soviets again, they'd be shot or something otherwise horrible. What those on the Western Front didn't know was that the Americans would afterwards hand them over to the Soviets, otherwise they might also have fought harder. But MG-42 on the way for Koronik. Volksgrenadier down, pulling back towards some heavy cover. Kaffekopf not pushing the advantage. Bit unfortunate there. Sometimes, again, aggression is good, in particular when they're Americans. For example, perhaps sending in those engineers with the rifle and then charge the cover. But no such luck. Instead, the Volksgrenadiers are left holding the line against the Americans. And looks like the squad leader is down, which tends to be the typical loss. That is the squad leader, since he's the one with the most effective weapon, and for some reason he always has to die the first, which quickly drops the effectiveness of a Volksgrenadier team pretty sharply. But another Volksgrenadier is on the way. MG-42 sending up, rifling a bit out in the open. And quickly getting suppressed. One man down. Sandbags going down here for Kaffekopf. And he probably might be heading for a flank now, but again he probably should have been a bit more aggressive. Instead, this team getting penned. The other one quickly pulling back. He's simply too afraid. Oh, Kaffekopf, be brave. Attack, attack. Koronin getting more infantry out on the field. Looks like a jeep is now arriving. Pioneer sneaking up on a flank. Keep rushing in. Don't head down the center road. You know there's an MG42 nestled in between the bushes and the cornfields. And a small engagement line between pioneers and engineers. And there we go, as charging in. Rifleman though behind, heavy cover, false guns going in. And of course, no, in these cases, yes, there we go. What is he doing? Let's just briefly pause. Focus firing. Oh, you chose the wrong team. He actually ordered away, I believe. Otherwise, I mean, focus fire. In this case, go for the team with the least health and the least numbers. I mean, if he can quickly get this sorted out, he's going to have a much better chance against these false gunners. Might also be, in this case, an idea to sort of rush in the Jeep behind the MG42. Of course, get some more riflemen to the front, perhaps also keep some engineers to assist either way. Back to the fighting, but there we go. He's not focus firing. Again, focus firing matters. Again, it basically means, you know, you have a priority and you target it first. There we go. I mean, had he been doing that a bit faster, the false gunners might have been done a lot faster. The other ones would have been in more trouble. But sadly, the riflemen are now completely getting outgunned. MG42 and false gunners up close. Again, with the squad leader. He basically, with a single shot, STG-44 does about as much damage as a grenadier. So he's actually quite much more nasty. And should not be underestimated. But of course, as soon as he drops again, squad quickly loses effectiveness. Pioneers and engineers fighting here. Jeep joining though against the vicious pioneers. And already here Koronik has launched a pretty nice prong around here, holding most of the fuel, in fact most of the vital points. Setting up an MG there. And already there, our good friend Kaffekopf has already been pushed back a bit. Need to get those engineers back to work as well. As quick as possible, preferably. Koronik getting another MG42.
We are losing ground.
Though he has lost a pioneer team in the name of the fatherland. What is your job? Your job! Yes, I'm not supposed to be commenting grammar and spelling. Still. And rifleman right there getting suppressed. Also note, I mean, in these cases when you do feel like setting up your MG in a building, a good tip is actually try and add some barbed wire so anyone can't easily sneak up on it with flamethrowers or grenades. At least he's holding the fuel point here, he's holding the western flank. So far so good. Kaffekopf, although that's about it, which is good. Needs troops reinforced. Again, a medic station perhaps also be an idea. And also again pushing. You're standing about too much, doing nothing, Kaffekopf. Be aggressive. Be daring. Be bold. Be moving. As the Americans, basically the way you're supposed to be playing is not defensively standing out, it's being aggressive, it's attacking. I mean, it's great to see you using sandbags, but you know, you also need to move. MP4 is being equipped. Charging in. And opening up on these riflemen. How shall this go? More false gunners moving in. And now the riflemen are quite severely outgunned. Too many submachine guns. Of course, in this case, Mr. Kaffekopf needs to be careful because MP40 also means he has access to Panzerfaust. And a Jeep is... There we go, Panzerfaust. Jeep almost down. And a few more MP40 bullets riddle the hull, knocking out, allowing the false gunners to move up, or the Ost-truppen. And a Bodenständige Infantrie division would have had some battalions actually replaced with Ost-trupp battalion as a basic way to free up German soldiers for other bits. Rifleman moving out again, not looking too well for Kaffekopf. Troops spread out, one hiding here in a building. This one heavily wounded. And let's just briefly pause here again. What is Kaffekopf doing wrong here? He's moving in, riflemen with rifles up close to troops with MP40s with submachine guns. You don't do that. And he in particular not when they're this low on health. In fact, he might end up risking losing it. Just note what happens. How quickly it goes down. Looks like though it does manage to get out, but again, try not to do things like that. It's not really going to end up well, although these false gunners also need to get away. Riflemen hold up in here, they can't move due to the MG42 here, and apparently they don't want to move away either. Click bags up for Koronik, who apparently feels pretty bold, not expecting his opponent to go for any armored vehicles, despite this is what Kaffekopf is doing. I mean, in this case, he actually might be making a mistake because he's not preparing for armored warfare, in this case an armored car, which is not quite a tank, still can be nasty. Grenadiers are moving in, so some slightly more solid troops for the Bodenständige Infantrie division, which basically means earth fast, I believe, although it's basically just sort of more considered static in that sense. And they would basically have had absolutely no transport means, that they didn't even have any carts with horses in them in really greater numbers. In terms of artillery, they were also not reasonably well equipped, as they mostly had sort of French or Russian artillery captured from elsewhere. And get riflemen going up here against the full skies, but now also the Grenadiers. And again, Grenadiers are quite solid troops, and there we go. Absolutely vast amounts of submachine gun fire. I don't think. Oh dear. Mendoza went down. Yes, indeed. Quite doing alright there. 10 kills. And 6 kills plus a half-track now joining in. Although probably on lend from some other unit providing support.
Grenadiers reporting full strength. What are your orders?
Probably a panzer division with some light armored assets to support. Or probably the 17th, as says, although I don't think they actually had half-tracks again. Panzer divisions weren't really equipped with that. And he's actually doing something interesting here. He's getting a flamethrower for it. It's not what you actually very often see players do. And it probably also means he's going for the 3rd tier. He might also want to ensure there are actually someone here, but charging in here, MP4 just moving in. Lots of flamethrowers, but sadly Kaffekopf does not have anything to really stop this. Half-track just standing in this, but of course it can reinforce his Grenadiers, and he's doing that nicely. Though he needs to be closer. Closer. Deal with all these flamethrowers. A nice Valiant and tapped by Kaffekopf, but sadly didn't quite work out well. What are the Pioneers doing? Waiting to set up something, but of course also mines would be nice. I think an engineer team went down. Yes, indeed. And now the flamethrower is ready. Oh dear, these riflemen need to get out of there. Although so far the flame, that is one of the major issues though with the flamethrower half-track. It really has a nasty habit of not hitting anything at all. Anyways, don't clump up units near to a strategic point, and also a recommendation. I mean, in this case it might be an idea, and let's just briefly pause again. You know, lay down some barbed wire here or here, possibly also here, and then also some sandbags, you know, to provide cover for the inevitable counter-attack and make it harder for opponents to retake. I mean, things like these can matter, and they can greatly strengthen your position, in particular when you also have a half-track, and perhaps it might also be an idea in this case to move up the MG to provide support. But moving back to the fight, not really looking good for Kaffekopf, although his opponent has not really pushed in there. Troops hanging about here, getting reinforced. Sticky bombs on the way. Troops getting reinforced from the half-track. And these flamethrower half-tracks, I believe, would have been sort of more working in companies of their own, although I'm not 100% sure of that. These sort of more unique half-track units, like also the, for example, the Sturmgewehr, are not quite as obvious as to show how they were organized. For example, I learned the Sturmgewehr was apparently actually equipped to pioneer companies, more specifically Panzerpionier, in that they were basically the heavy company in providing artillery support with the rockets. Anyways, charging in, though, be careful, of course, with sticky bombs abound. And what does it do? Does it get any kills? Firing away, and again, that's the problem. It can really get off absolutely no kills because it can't hit. But of course, when it does, it really does. And there we go. 2 sticky bombs, and it's dead. Sadly, no Kampfkraft Center. It was much too late. Koronik simply being too late again, without really much to show for it. It was, I'm not entirely sure what went on there, but again, barbed wire here would have helped greatly. Sandbags would have helped greatly. Now he's getting a Sturm army, and again, veterancy for the half-track early on would have helped. Or, for example, getting that MG up here. Absolutely a missed opportunity, and now he's just standing about there waiting for the attack to happen. Also, good rule of thumb, don't just wait for the attack to happen again. Barbed wire, sandbags, all those things. And apparently got an LMG for his Grenadiers as well. Hadn't noticed that in the first place. Veterancy for the infantry, MP4's moving in. Panzercheck, and there we go. T-17 moving in, that's a bit unusual. You don't see a lot players actually going for it. That's not to say it's completely rubbish, but it's not what a lot of the veteran players prefer, I can tell you that much. But it does have the advantage of not forcing you to spend munitions to actually get it upgraded. Folks, guys, they'll need to be careful with the T-17 tearing through them and the rifleman. Grenadier LMG doesn't quite seem to be doing much either. But that is the problem. Essentially, it actually takes a lot of time to actually aim and hit and all that. Which, of course, means there's actually a lot of time where it's not shooting. There's a lot of these tiny little problems with the LMG-42, which sort of all coalesce into it being not always very functional. Though it can still be alright from time to time. But we are seeing infantry from Kaffekopf. And we are seeing Koronik having been beaten back brutally after some nasty mistakes right there. And this T-17 armored car, the Staghound, needs to be repaired. Also, fun fact, while it was American developed, the Americans never really used it. It was pretty much primarily used by the British, who actually quite fancy it, but for the Americans, it never quite caught on. They stuck to the M8 and its variant, the M20. And now was the Stuart and laid on Chaffee. But now Kaffekopf is pushing onwards. Good. Trier center up. Good. Supply could be upgraded. And sure enough, he's still holding this area. And Koronik's forces are reinforcing. MP40s and everything. MG42's left behind. And if that T-17 opens up on them, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Sturmgeschütze arriving from said unknown armored division. Or possibly the 17th again, providing a bit of armor. Rather than running into problems. Infantry should be kept to support the Sturmgeschütz. Come on. Also you chaps. And of course, get an idea, so of course, to ensure you have veterancy for your Sturmgeschütz as the first opportune time. In this case, I mean, he does have the Sturmarmerie, and again, just veterans you want really can extend the lifetime of your Stug 4 quite a bit. With the assault moving in there. LMG opening up. Engineer team down. Stug opening up as well. Not looking entirely well for these riflemen. No further veterancy on the way. And Pioneers again standing out doing nothing. They could easily be doing a bit of work over here. Applying more pressure. And T-17 moving against the MG42 of Koronik here on the eastern flank. And there's absolutely nothing to help it. Stug rushing in though. And an anti-tank on the way, which is certainly the way to handle it. That's going to knock out that Stug very soon. But he needs to get that MG42 out of there before the T-17 knocks it out. Come on, get out of there, Rückzugmänner. Stug moves in. And there we go. T-17 gets the MG gunner. Stug does get off a good hit. But not before the T-17 gets out of there. Stug needs to get back. Again, infantry support. Infanterie Unterstützung. And what is this? We're now seeing an armored car. That could be working. But of course, be careful with all those riflemen. And again, that's why you keep it supported. Stug opening up a bit on the flanks. Again, veterancy would be nice. Koronik and a medic bunker. Medic bunker. Again, attrition. And that also applies to you, Kaffekopf. No, don't send you in. I mean, it's nice to see you have a Puma, I suppose, but don't send it in unsupported. And now there's an anti-tank gun, so get it out of there. And that also means the Stug, and of course, again, veterancy, Pioneers, up and repaired, do something. He's just standing about too much, not doing anything. It's not really good at all. But now the assault is moving in. MP40s, T-17 Grenadier could be providing a bit of support with the Panzerek. And of course Panzerfaust could be launched. They're again standing out in the open when your opponent's in heavy cover with MP40s is not necessarily the best idea. The LMG adding to the fun. T-17 got nicely hit there. Will there be any Panzerfaust? Engineers moving in with the flamethrower grenadiers. Yes, there we go. One good salvo. Got the engineer right quickly there. And another down. I mean, up close, I mean, it's certainly better, but that also means you're in range for grenades and all that other nasty stuff, which does limit a bit the usefulness. Might have been an idea to move up the grenadiers or move up the Volksgrenadiers, get off some shots on that T-17 and knock it out. Don't just hang back. At the least effective range of the MP40, it's a submachine gun team. I mean, they work best up close, not at range. Stug moving up, but be careful there, anti-tank guns. Get those grenadiers up, man. Mortar moving up. No, that's an MG42. My apologies. Get them out of there. Don't charge in into... Oh, Koronik, you dumb cop. Stug almost down, but might it make it? Nope, out of control. These false guys need to get out there again. They lost because, again,
Enemy unit.
staying at maximum range with weapons that are best at closer ranges is not how you win a fight. In fact, he lost a false grenade team. And these grenades are not doing well either. Grenade on the rifleman. But they need to get back. Rückzug. The position is untenable. Rifleman running into both LMGs. And quickly retreating.
Enemy unit.
And he lost another false grenade team. Oh my goodness, what are you doing, Koronik? What are you doing? That was just bad. Now the pioneers hanging about there. Poorly timed defense. Riflemen going at the grenadiers. Left to fend for themselves. Although they might have seal, of course, which does make them tougher and more accurate. But now they need to get out of there. Now getting more false grenadiers. He's not getting grenadiers. He's not getting the better infantry unit, for goodness sake. And I wager, of course, he's probably going to be going for MP40s. When he probably would have been better off with grenadiers, perhaps a Nebelwerfer or a mortar. Now we might be seeing some grenadiers. I bloody well hope so. And these grenadiers need to get reinforced as well. Another Staghound joining in. First one still there with 7 kills. Something on the way from the Sturm Army as well. No pack. And of course now this MG42 is in trouble because it's at the front with nothing to support it, to protect it against the MG42. Come on, Koronik now. He's getting a mortar. Grenadiers are still not getting reinforced. He's just getting more MP40 false grenadiers. Come on, Koronik. Use that head of yours. And get that mortar to the front. It's not going to be doing anything at your base. There we go, charging the rifleman position. Going to do some nasty things to them if they don't do more because they're getting support. Oh dear, will they get out of there? And now this MG42 is going to be lost as well. Koronik, what are you doing? Why do you insist on losing your MGs to the T-17s? It's daft. Armor coming forwards, mortar at the front. Stug also moving up. Grenadiers have still not been reinforced. More MP40 false grenadiers once more getting shot up. Although they are managing a few kills. Let's return to Koronik. Moving in, a Puma unsupported against 2 T-17s and an anti-tank gun. I have no idea what he's doing. And 2 veterancy chevrons right there. False guys again need to get out of there. Koronik, unit preservation. Again, one of those greater novice mistakes. Troops here not getting reinforced, I fear. Which is also pretty bad. Now getting another Stug. And what is this? A Nebelwerfer? There we go. Stop. Stop. Don't move it up to the front, you imbecile. Absolute clockwinder. It's an artillery piece. And not a close one like the mortar. Don't get it up to the Stug at the front. I mean, wherever your units are at the farthest is the front. And don't go firing into the base. Fire at the anti-tank guns. Knock those out. Don't hope to knock... You... Oh. But just at least try and get it back, for heaven's sake. As you might have noticed, he didn't quite manage much there. In fact, let's just speed this up. T-17, they're sneaking in, opening up on the pioneers and the mortar. And now calling in artillery. And again, Nebelwerfer was simply too far at the front and easy target. He didn't really manage much for it and just lost 325 manpower and is snacking a bit. Whoops, let's stop it. Slow down, but now we're seeing BARs, which are really making things difficult. Mortar cleared out in seconds. Riflemen retreating. with some losses, but still not a good situation. He just lost all his artillery. He lost all his ways for actually stopping those anti-tank guns.
Ready to punch back the Yankees.
Grenadiers finally reinforced. Now get them to the front with that MG42. Finally getting further veterancy for the infantry. I mean, absolutely madness, bonkers. And he's floating an ungodly amount of munitions. Back to the front after a brief distraction as Flaps becomes a bit silly. And let's try again. There we go. Rather than getting simply outgunned in a human wave of Volksgunners with MP40s. Though the Volksgunners are quickly running into problems, more riflemen present themselves, and the T-17, the Veterans 1, now joins in. And again, unit preservation does not seem to be Koronic's skill set. Losing another Volksgunner team. Stuke's getting repaired.
Attention. The enemy advances.
MG42 still hiding on the far flanks.
Ready to punch back the Yankees. What are your orders? MG here. Ready. Field repairs complete.
Grenadiers bumming up in the hopes of they can save the day, perhaps from Koronic's gross incompetence.
Grenadiers ready.
But let's speed this up again.
Ready.
Grenadiers running into trouble. Again, he's got plenty of munitions, but he's not using them. He could have gotten Goliaths at least, or something. Or at least use the propaganda war, for example, here to help the Grenadiers a bit, but it's not happening. More Volksgunners with MP40. He's getting more. He just keeps on making them. And now he's rushing in his Stukes into several anti-tank guns. Oh, for heaven's sake. Why must you continue doing these senseless things? Losing Volksgunners in a rather brutal battle against Veterans 2 infantry. And again, no medic bunker to even sort of partly deal with this. So lots of wounded troops of the fatherland, lots of Ostsoldaten.
Listen up.
And another Stuke down. Not really looking good when he has to explain himself to high command.
The enemy advances.
And now Mr. Kaffekopf is slowly pushing onwards. And once more, let us speed this up. There's just one final little bit for this tale of horror. Another armored car joining in. And immediately upgunning it. Tiger ready. Okay, Konic Tiger. Sniper joining in. Clearing up the anti-tank gun most swiftly. Oops. Certainly nice choice right there to deal with any sort of support weapons that could prove themselves a problem. Both supply upgrades also nice to see right there from Kaffekopf. That's only one of the few things. No, he's not going for a King Tiger. He's going for another armored car. Another Puma, perhaps. Again, let's speed this up for this final chapter before I call this an end for today. But again, MG42 left on this far flank. Again, left to fend for itself against Pumas. I mean, T-17 is he moving in? His armor cars to assist? No, he's not. He's just leaving it right there again, meaning, why did he have it there in the first place if he's not going to support it? I mean, they're support weapons, they need to sort of support other things, they need to be part of a larger defense. In fact, now we are seeing a medic station up for Kaffekopf. And another MG going down. King Tiger, though, moving in. Let's just speed this up. And there we go, another MG is simply lost. Veterans 2 for this thing. Which is only made that much more nasty. Heavy machine gun there to support the front line. And Grenadiers getting burned alive. Again, not really good sack text from Koronik. Let's go look at Kaffekopf. Sniper joining in for a bit of fun. And some artillery on map of the sort. And again, losing troops. Now moving in the stew again. No point in rushing in and on. Veteran stew against anti-tank guns from the front. That's not going to give you anything. But now the final bit here is going on. A slightly clever trick, I suppose. He's basically going for the base of the American commander, hoping to do some damage there.
Base is under attack.
That could work. That could work. While the armor cars seem to be holding the eastern flank. Whatever shall happen. Well, clearly we are seeing a swift reaction right there. Riflemen rushing in. And of course, Veteran D2, meaning they have a longer sticky bomb range. King Tiger, though, needs to be careful. Pull back. You do not want to be in range of those. Immediately 2 go down. And now the armor cars join in. This assault to save the Bodenständige Infantrie. And that was an excellent shot. I believe he actually got about 6 riflemen right there with 1 shot from the King Tiger and his high explosive rounds. He needs to continue though, dealing with the riflemen, not fire at the headquarters or anything else. Armored cars rushing in, anti-tank guns getting exposed, hit from the rear. In fact, of course they can get hit themselves, and again, no veterancy for it. Not even that though, which would have made them harder to knock out. Quite the mistake, but 10 kills for the King Tiger already. Certainly getting the most out of it. Another rifleman down. And Puma down to sticky bombs. Looks like a rifleman team got utterly annihilated by the combined King Tiger and Pumas. Anti-tank guns moving up, leaving in fact the entire front pretty denuded, which could allow for another assault. But again, there's still that heavy machine gun. Also no good use of barbed wire, but still, don't rush into the heavy machine guns continually. You don't. Another Puma going down. King Tiger just firing away at the headquarters when he should be dealing with everything else. The machine guns, the motor pool, the infantry. And also don't throw away grenadiers like that.
Enemy unit down.
Rangers taking heavy losses, 22 kills for the King Tiger. It's certainly reaping a terrible toll on the Americans. More sticky bombs. Firestorm right there in the American base. Nice to see that. But I fear simply too late. Armored car moves up, but there's still that anti-tank gun right there. Stuk has moved into the base, but it hasn't even knocked out the howitzer. And leaving out an armored car in front of the anti-tank gun is not good either.
Enemy unit down.
I mean, this is pretty much bad no matter what way you look at it. But still, we're here to learn, to see the mistakes. King Tiger still doing alright. I mean, he certainly did something rare with the King Tiger, which is actually surprise someone with it.
Destroyed our barracks.
Which is quite unique, I suppose. And he managed 31 kills with it. That's still something. But there we go. I mean, there's still something to it. But I mean, this is pretty much game over. He's lost practically everything else. And as we know, there's pretty much no chance for Koronik to get back because his unit preservation is ghastly. I mean, he's constantly throwing away units, constantly rushing them into heavy machine gun fire, constantly leaving heavy machine guns out where they can easily be picked off by the enemy. I mean, there are really a lot of mistakes to go for after. I mean, certainly Kaffekopf made his own by not being aggressive early on, which rather allowed Koronik to actually be pretty aggressive early on. But then he, of course, fell apart because he didn't prepare for the counter-attack. No sandbags, no barbed wire, no mines, no MGs actually to support there. There was also a lack of anti-tank guns. Morton, of course, don't move up your naval work to the front, for heaven's sake. Keep it behind. And again, a medic bunker from him would also have been great, but again, that failed. I mean, there were a lot of those failures, but primarily, again, unit preservation and sort of defense preparation were rather where he failed. So there you go. Do hope you enjoyed this Monday Novice fight. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends? And if you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own? This is Imperial Dane saying cheers, and remember to preserve your units.